Let's take a look at ADP, possibly the best deck in the format. Welcome back, everyone, to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today we're going to take another look at Arceus Dialga-Palkia with Zacian V. This is Rochelle Fortier's Lavender Town Kickoff winning list. She went through, I think it's 8 rounds of Swiss and did not lose a single game with this deck. It is an absolute ripper. There's been a lot of argument about whether or not ADP should actually be banned, and you know what? It's pretty solid, so I could see arguments for both sides. We'll jump onto PTCGO in just a second to look at the list, but first, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Click the button that is down below. It only takes a second, and it makes me feel really, really happy. Whilst you're there, like the video. That means that more people will be more likely to see this content. Jump across onto PTCGO now and check out the list. So this here is Rochelle's winning ADP list, very similar to lots of ADP lists floating around at the moment, and you'll notice that there are some significant differences from the ADP list that I featured on the channel at the very beginning of the Darkness Ablaze format. That's because this deck has moved away from a Jirachi consistency engine. Instead, it is focusing on cards like Dedenne and Crobat to try and accelerate and extend their hands. Obviously, we have the card itself, Arceus Dialga-Palkia. This is at the forefront of the deck. The Altered Creation GX attack, incredibly powerful. For a metal and a water, we deal 30 extra damage for every attack for the rest of the game, and we take an extra prize for every attack that we take a knockout on. This means that Ultimate Raiders 180, that can knock out things like Dedenne, take 3 prizes, you're halfway to winning the game already, and we can accelerate 3 energy from our deck onto our main attacker. That is Zacian V. Has a better card ever been printed in this game? I don't think so. I mean, this card's probably the best one. Intrepid Sword, an amazing ability, especially when going first on your first turn. Brave Blade deals 230 damage plus an extra 30 with the GX attack. That's 260 damage, taking a knockout on almost all basic Pokemon in the format. We can't use that attack next turn, but it's not the end of the world. As long as we can keep swinging, we should be A-okay. We have another attacker in this list, one that's a little bit different out of left field, and it is what makes Rochelle's list so unique. It is Zamazenta. This promo card is actually quite difficult to get a hold of unless you go and purchase it from an online card store. I personally couldn't find it anywhere apart from Potown, so jump onto Potown and grab yourself a Zamazenta. Potown, if you're listening, I don't know. This card is really, really interesting. Sturdy Shield means that this Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks, which is very, very good. It means that we're going to be 2 hit by lots of basic attackers. And Headbang for 3 metal and a colorless deals 130. That's very expensive, but it's going to total 160 damage after we've used our ADP's GX attack. This card is in the deck to take on things like Decidueye. We'll be able to take knockouts on Decidueye in one shot, which would be fantastic. And Zamazenta, most importantly, won't be able to be knocked out in a single hit by Decidueye. So we should be good to get at least 1 knockout if that matchup comes up. So Zamazenta, a very good attacker, as is Mawile, believe it or not. Wily Bite for 2 energy does 10, plus 30 more for every Pokemon on the bench, plus the 30 from ADP. That means you're going to be dealing a relatively consistent 130-ish damage. This card's incredibly good against Eternatus VMAX, where they play down up to 8 Pokemon on the bench. You can deal massive damage for 2 energy. Very, very powerful. We probably won't use Big Eater GX because that's kind of against the strategy of the deck, but the Captivating Wink ability is very powerful. Play this card to the bench, and we can take a look at our opponent's hand and bench any Pokemon that are there. Means that we can stop cards like Crobat and Dedenne from triggering their abilities. We play both of those cards as well, Dedenne and Crobat, to help us draw through cards. That's it for Pokemon. No Jirachis, none of that. We are just focusing on getting ADP in as early as possible, powering it up, GX attacking, taking knockouts. That's all this deck needs to do. So to get an ADP in play turn 1, we're going to use 4 Quick Balls and 4 Cherish Balls. That gives us 10 outs to find ADP. That means 1 in 6 cards in the deck can find it, and guess what? You get to look at 7 at the start, so we should be able to get that ADP into play early. If we can't, we've got lots of outs to find it. We also have lots of outs to find energy. We've got Energy Spinner, which is fantastic. We've got Viridian Forest to help us search out specific energy types. We have 4 copies of Metal Saucer to accelerate metal energy from the discard pile, and we also have 4 copies of Energy Switch, so that if we go second, we can use our GX attack on our first turn attacking. If we can discard a metal, use Metal Saucer, Energy Switch that energy across to an ADP, attach a water, then we can GX. It's not a tough combo to pull off, especially going second, and that's because we can use our supporters on that second turn. We've got 4 copies of Professor's Research, and that's it for draw. We've got 4 copies of Boss's Orders as well. As people have said multiple times, all ADP needs to do is GX, Gust twice, and it should win the game. We have 4 Boss's Orders and 4 copies of Pokemon Catcher in this list as well. So we've got effectively 8 Gust cards. We have to flip for half of them, but that's okay. As long as most of them, as long as there's 6, right? 50-50 on the coin flips, we get 6 total Gusts. We are almost definitely winning that game. A couple of other things that can become a bit of an issue. We've got a couple of switching mechanics in the deck. We've got Switch, which will obviously get our Pokemon out of the active and onto the bench. And we also have 2 copies of Air Balloon as well. Only one of our Pokemon in this deck can't use Air Balloon to retreat, and that is ADP, and guess what? That's the one that we want to have in the active anyway, so it's not that big of a deal if you can't get the ADP out of the active. It's more important to get these other 2 retreat Pokemon out of the active so that you can GX early. The last trainer card we have is Big Charm. This is a good one to drop down on ADP so that it can kind of live a little bit extra. 310 HP is almost impossible for decks like Eternatus to deal with on the first turn unless they get very, very lucky. Decks like Mewtwo will struggle with it. There's a whole bunch of extra things that this 30 HP can really assist with, so I would definitely recommend it. It's really good on Zacian as well when you play against Zacian Luca Metal, because they won't be able to hit 260, whereas you will. So consider that as well. Finally, our energy count, we have 8 metal and 2 water. That's pretty much bare bones as we can get, but it's all that we need. As long as we can find them early with Energy Spinner, we should be a-okay. So that's ADP Zacian. This is the deck that Rochelle went undefeated with in that, what did I call it, before the Lavender Town Kickoff. Hopefully we can get some games with it. It shouldn't be too hard. ADP is a pretty good deck. So we'll probably have a couple of games with ADP here because it tends to win or lose relatively quickly. We'll call Tails and win the coin flip. Let's go first. I'd rather not have to find the turn 1 GX. I mean, it's possible, but this hand's pretty solid for us to find some energy at least. We've got a Dene, we've got an ADP start, which is good. Yeah, like I said, we don't expect these games to go for too long, so we might see 3. It depends on what we've got here. Eternatus. That's very interesting. I'm thinking we get rid of Zamazenta here. I don't think we really need that. We can just grab ourselves a Zacian. We can attach the Air Balloon if we'd like. I feel like switching into Zacian is not a bad idea, because normally Eternatus doesn't play like Tool Disruption, so this should be a fine move. It means that we aren't risking anything really. We can use Energy Spinner. There's an argument to find like metal energy and stuff and try going for a little bit more, but I don't think we need to. I think we can just sit with that and Intrepid Sword. We don't find an energy, unfortunately. If we had have got one for Zacian off of that Intrepid Sword, we would have had the GX attack guaranteed next turn. The good thing is, though, we have the Big Charm, and like I mentioned, I was about to talk about how Big Charm is very important on the ADP in this particular matchup, but we will not be getting access to it. We've got Spinner and Viridian Forest, though, plus Cherish Ball, Quick Ball. We are good to find Pokemon. We are good to find draw cards, which is fantastic. Our opponent Crobats for 3. They're going to be looking to Power Accelerator onto another Eternatus V. That would probably be the way to go for me if I was on my opponent's side of the field. And looks like there is an Eternatus, so that's fair. And there's the Power Accelerator, so if they're accelerating an energy to the bench, that seems pretty good. And that's why it's quite important for us to not have this ADP getting hit, because if we had that ADP get hit for 30 there, it would be so much easier for our opponent to take a knockout. I'm going to Viridian away a Metal Energy here because I like the idea of being able to set up the Saucer early. We will Cherish Ball. I want a Mawile, I think that would be great. There's no Dedenne, so I need to Quick Ball. I can't Cherish Ball, but we will Mawile, and hopefully we hit something here. Nope, nothing in there. Just an Eternatus and a couple of energy, so nothing to fear at the moment. We can Quick Ball and grab ourselves Crobat and draw 6 cards with that. And we are good to go. There's a big charm. That's very important. We will retreat into ADP. We can attach the charm. We'll play this Saucer, attach an energy. There's an argument that it might be like attached to Mawile. Possibly is a good idea, but if our opponent knocks out the Zacian, then we've got the Saucer and we've got access to a metal next turn to attack with Mawile anyway. And if they knock out the ADP, then they need to have a full bench. So Mawile is going to be an easy attacker if we need it. Let's play the Pokemon Communication. They just top-decked out of that hand. That's so disappointing. Okay, so to knock out this ADP, they need 4 Zigzagoons and a full bench. It's not impossible, but it's not likely either. I need to play down all 4 of their bench spaces need to be Zigzagoons, so this Absol isn't particularly useful, although it will be quite frustrating for our Zacian. Is no longer a free retreater. There's 1 Zigzagoon. Now they're going to need to scoop up and do some... There's a second Zigzagoon. Could it be? Could it be that we are about to get completely destroyed by Zigzagoons here? No. Dread End for 240. Fair enough. Okay, so let's have a think. That catcher is good. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can attach to ADP here. Play down another Zacian, and then I think we're happy to just Ultimate Ray. We don't really need to do anything else. As long as we can set up a couple of attackers, we'll be fine. We have 2 metal and a water. What I'll do is I'll attach a metal to the Zacian. We might even just power up that Zacian fully. And then the water can go on the Mawile, because the Mawile has a colorless attack cost, so we get extra use out of that water energy there. That's very handy. Our opponent only has 1 powered attacker. If they choose to attack with this Eternatus, we take 4 prizes, which is very good. If they don't and they retreat to another Eternatus, then we could be in a bit of trouble. We may need to hope if they knock out, if they choose to attack with another Eternatus. They don't. Okay, so this is fine. We have ADP here that we can attack with. I think we're going to have to attack with ADP. And we've got Metal Saucer to power up Mawile. Now we've got a Quick Ball as well, so we can actually draw some more cards with Crobat as well. So I don't mind this. I'll grab ourselves that Crobat there. Draw some extra cards, 6 freshies, and we'll see what we can get. I think we're really just looking for a Gust for next turn at this stage. We will Ultimate Ray. Or do we do anything else? Nothing. We just... Let's burn some of these cards that we're not going to... that we're not going to get any use out of. We'll Ultimate Ray, knock out the Eternatus in the active, and now we have 2 powered attackers. We've got 1 knockout to take. All we need is a Gust next turn, and we will be able to win the game, because our opponent cannot get their bench down to a low enough size. Hopefully we are able to hold on to this boss. A stamp would be horrible. But we get the Dedenne off the prizes, so at least now a Pokemon search card is going to be an out to Dedenne. Maybe I shouldn't have got rid of the Cherish Ball. That's okay. I'm not going to be punished for it. I'm playing ADP. Anyway, even if they take the knockout on the active, they can't win the game. We can just use Mawile and Boss's Orders to bring out something like Zigzagoon, knock it out, and win the game that way. I don't think that there's anything much, really, that our opponent can do here. We're just looking for a reset stamp off of this Cynthia Caitlin to try and avoid being knocked out. They still need an Eternatus VMAX as well, so it's going to be pretty unlikely. There's a Quick Ball, so this might find a Crobat. It doesn't look like there is one, though. That's disappointing. Oh, they've got one in their hand. Fair enough. They're just thinning some cards. They need that VMAX. If they don't have the VMAX, then this is bad. The Great Ball will help them. I might potentially find it. No, nothing there. Oh, they've got it in the hand again. Okay, so they have the VMAX now. We definitely don't want to get stamped, because if we do, we leave ourselves open to lose the game next turn, which is not ideal. Zigzagoon coming down from our opponent. They've got that in hand. Whether they choose to use it, there it is. So I'm thinking that it's probably just going to be Mawile and Gust. I don't think that they've got it. They only got 2 cards left. Yep. It's bad luck. It's bad luck. ADP's pretty good. It's pretty good at finding these easy knockouts. We've got 8 Gust cards. We happen to be sitting on 1 in hand. We had Research and Dedede to try and find another flip for one as well. Let's just Gust out a Zigzagoon here. Let's not bother talking about it too much. And then Wily Bite will take the knockout. That's something like 200 damage, isn't it? 220 damage. That's pretty solid. It's pretty solid for a 2-energy attack. We'll jump into another one. It's time for game 2. We'll see whether or not we can get another good one. Beating Eternatus always feels nice. ADP is one of those decks that can do the job. We have been given the first turn. That's okay. I've got too much beard hair. I need to have a... Tell you what, I'm gonna probably have a shorter beard and a shorter haircut next video. Let's go with that. It's gonna be my thing. It's gonna be my thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a short haircut. Anyway, the game has started. We've got a Research in our hand. That's pretty good. Quick Ball here. We'll get rid of this Metal Energy. I kind of want to grab Zacian. That seems good, because then I can source it of the Zacian. And also have access to a... can have access to an ADP this turn. Maybe this wasn't the right idea. I can Intrepid Sword, though. We've got an extra energy. That seems pretty good. And we have a potential Gust and a Dedenne, which is less good. This shouldn't be too bad. They're going to be using Super Growth early. They'll get their Garuki evolved into a Rillaboom. But I'm not too worried about that. The thing that does concern me is Tropical Hour. If they can get Tropical Hour going early, then that would be quite frustrating. We can Quick Ball away the Dedenne or the Research or whatever we top deck, and still be able to get an ADP off pretty comfortably here. We'll see Super Growth here will evolve Grookey into Rillaboom for sure. We need to hold on to the switch and the energy switch, because they're going to be played this turn to get ADP into the active. It's just a matter of... Oh, another energy switch. That's not... it's not ideal. It's not bad, though. We might be able to use that. Let's just get rid of this Dedenne. We can grab ourselves ADP. Part of me kind of wants to just move all of these energies across. We'll switch into the active first, though. We're going to definitely move one. The question is, do we move a second? You know what? Why not? We can get an extra energy on here. This means we don't need to find another attachment. We'll flip for this Pokemon Catcher. That's beautiful. We can put the Rillaboom in the active. Now they need to find a switch to get an attack off. We just need a water energy we find in Viridian Forest. That is beautiful. We can get rid of another metal, grab the water, and now we have Altered Creation, which is fantastic. We will AC, and hopefully our opponent can't get that Rillaboom out of the active. If they can, they can. If they can't, they can't. If they can, they probably go into the Eggrow and then use... Well, they're not going to attack. They shouldn't really attack. They should probably... They might try and get a half hit on the ADP, actually. Okay, so they're going to... Oh, they're going to boss. Alright. That's an interesting call. They're going to boss into Zacian. So they're doing the same thing that I did, hoping that they... hoping that I can't get out of the active here. This is a really odd choice, though, because... I mean, like, it's obviously likely that I wouldn't be able to get out of the active. I know that I can, because I've got the switch, so it's not a problem. But now, I can just gust up this Rillaboom, and there's no way that we can be punished for that, that Tropical Hour GX attack. So that's good. We might Cherish Ball for a Mawile, maybe? Or just Ultimate Ray. Could have got the Mawile as another Pokemon to attach to, but we can just attach to, like, the Zamazenta here. My fingers move too fast for my brain sometimes. I'm talking about doing something, I'm like, nah, it's not a good idea. We'll take 2 prizes, and now we are in a pretty strong position. We've got a switch and an air balloon in hand. If they try that trick again, they won't be able to get Tropical Hour off for the full effect, which is good. Although at some point they will, and that's quite concerning. They're using Evo Incense here. That might find like a Rillaboom to Rare Candy, maybe. That would be terrible, because if they have that, then they can Tropical Hour for sure. But the 3 cards in their hand, you'd say that's unlikely. You'd hope. Thwacky. That's an okay card for us. It means that Tropical Hour is definitely not happening. There's Coming Hurricane. I think that we can probably get ourselves a win here by using... Let's have a think. We'll Metal Saucer first. We'll just give ourselves a little bit of time here. Put the energy on the Zamazenta. I think we can probably buy ourselves some time if we grab it like Mawile. We could play that down and check their hand. If they've got nothing, that would be great. They've got... That's absolutely nothing. Okay, so I feel like gusting up Rillaboom VMAX is a good idea. We can Ultimate Ray here. Half hit this VMAX. The chances of them top decking out of it are pretty slim. We can accelerate energy. We've got multiple powered attackers. This is all looking good. We've got Research next turn. We can find a Gust if we need to. We can Cherish Ball for the Dene as well, so that's also good. There's pretty much anything that our opponent can do here. We've got an answer to, which is fantastic. They can have Pokemon Center Lady. That achieves nothing. I think we're going to win this one as well. I don't see a way that our opponent can do anything now that they are using... they've used a supporter. They get rid of that Serena as well. Attaching to the Egg Growl, that's interesting. And a Turf Field. I wonder what the plan is here. This is bad news for you. You know that. You have no card. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Goodbye. One last game for ADP, and this one's up against Matt. He wanted to test out a deck that we've got in the pipelines at the moment. That's Scizor VMAX, Scizor. So we will see if that is good enough to beat ADP here. I figured I'd just run this deck one more time. We'll see what happens. Tell you what, if you want to see Scizor VMAX, the deck that Matt is testing out here, then we might try and get that done tomorrow. I normally go for like a like target of 60 or 70. I've gone for 100 in the past. What do you reckon? Can we do 100 again? We might try it, but first, I think I just attach an energy to Zacian and then like pass. This is not ideal. I mean, we're not going to pass. We're going to Intrepid Sword, surely. Get an energy and a quick ball. This is a great hand now. Now we just need a switch. So yeah, if you want to see Scizor VMAX deck list, then I want to see 100 likes on this video. Right? I want to see them. I want to see 100 likes. And if we get 100 likes, then I will desperately try and put together this Scizor list for you over the next 24 hours and try and get a video together for what I really think is one of the best looking VMAXs in the set. The VMAX for Scizor looks beautiful. So 100 likes and we'll do that one. If you're still watching, by the way, then let us know. There's a Zacian coming down here. Luca Metal. This is a very defensive steel deck. And energy onto the Luca Metal there. And a Metal Saucer. It looks like we could be gearing up to potentially, yes, use the GX attack. Matt's left himself with no cards here, though. That's pretty rough. But we lose 2 Metal Energy, and that's even worse. We just top deck the ADP. Okay, the best thing about this is we can just potentially get the GX attack off here anyway, even though our opponent has tried to slow us down. We can play down another Zacian. We can quick ball. Actually, what I should have done is I should have quick balled away the Zacian and got another Zacian, because I'm going to get a Zacian here. I should have gotten rid of it. That's okay. We don't need 3 Zacians, but I'm going to play them down anyway, because I want bench space. So let's use Crobat. We'll see what we can find. Metal Saucer, that's pretty good. We can get ourselves an energy in play. Now an energy switch as well. We'll get the energy onto the ADP. We've got a spinner. We can thin a metal out by using this spinner. And then to Dene, we are looking for a switch. We might flip this catcher, maybe. Do we need to? Yeah, let's flip it. See what happens. It's a Tails, whatever. We can Dedenne here. We're looking for a switch or a research. One of those will do the job. We've gotten the air balloon. So there you go. Our opponent uses Full Metal Wall, GXs on that turn, and we get the GX attack off anyway. That's how good this deck is. Altered Creation, 30 extra damage. That'll mitigate the extra damage being healed by, or being restricted by Luca Metal. And now we are good to go. Just a Steel Fist from Matt. Nothing going here, nothing doing. So maybe falling prey to trying to get a quick GX attack off there. We've got a pretty solid hand here. I don't even think we need to play any of these cards. I think we can just Ultimate Ray. I mean, we've used one. Yeah, I reckon we're probably fine. We can just Ultimate Ray here, hit half of this Luca Metal's HP, grab ourselves some Metal Energies, and then we'll spread those out on our Zacians. We'll put 2 on the one with the balloon and 2 on the second Zacian. This is why we didn't need 3. I don't need 3. What am I talking about? What do I need 3 Zacians for? So yeah, we can't get knocked out. This Luca Metal's not going to knock us out. It's impossible. No. Boss's orders will be annoying though. They'll be able to grab the Zacian that doesn't have any energy on it. And that's annoying, to say the very least. And top decking a boss is annoying also. We are going hunting for a switch here with the research. This is why if we didn't have the third Zacian, it wouldn't have been an issue. But that's okay. We found the switch anyway. We can just go into the ADP again, take the knockout. We can potentially... I don't think we have that many energy left, if any. Yeah, there's none. Okay, so no energy to power up anything, but we've got 4 prizes to take, so I'm happy to do that. And yeah, I don't think this Scizor deck is long for this world, but then again, ADP is one of those decks that is incredibly fast, so you can't expect it to. You can't expect every deck to beat every other deck. It's not always the way it works. ADP is just a generically bad matchup for some of these decks that are a little bit slower and less powerful. But that's the format that we live in. Here comes another Zacian from Matt. Can I get another one of those into play? I think his game plan here is probably to find the VMAX and hope that we don't have Gust. And that looks like what he might be. Look at that card. Look at how good that looks. I want to play with that card. I want to play with Scizor VMAX. Let's get those 100 likes. We're going to beat it quite comfortably here. Here's Intrepid Sword, yeah, so we can just Gust out a Zacian and knock it out with Zacian V. But that's okay. Like I said, yeah. Get those likes in. Hopefully we can show off a couple of better games than this one. So yeah, 100 likes and we'll show off that deck. That'd be great. Subscribe whilst you're down there. I'd really appreciate it. Sorry, Matt, for winning that one. Would have liked to have seen Scizor being a little bit better, but that's okay tomorrow. I mean, I say tomorrow. I mean, maybe. If you're good, if you're good boys and girls, then I will play Scizor VMAX. But you need to do the right thing by me, and that is to like and subscribe. Have I said it enough this video? Like and subscribe. You should like and subscribe. That would be great. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to feel pressured. I don't want to be a bully. You can just, you know, consume the content. Or not. Really. Like, I mean, if you're watching to this point and you're put off by the fact that I'm saying like and subscribe, then fair enough. You don't have to do anything, really. Like, I mean, you can choose to do whatever. It's your life. It's your life, man. Do what you want to do. I believe in you. It's going to be okay. Anyway, I've rambled way too much. Let's get on to editing the video. We'll put it out. Thank you, everyone, for coming along for this one. Well done to all of the competitors in the Lavender Town tournament. I know there was a lot of ADP there. Let me know down in the comments, firstly, if you're still listening. That would be great. Question of the day, should ADP be banned? Is the answer yes, and why? If not, that's fine. I don't care. I think it's a good card. I like it. I think it's fun. I don't really worry about that kind of stuff. Subscribe button over here. There's playlists down here. There's videos over here. Do what you need to do. Thank you, everyone, for coming along, and I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye. It's a real rambling outro. I don't like that.